Okay, I've had a go at a bit of hammering and dollying. Pardon me. First of all, I ground it inside and out, and I kind of, well, I don't know what I did, to be honest. It's still a bit low there. Now what you must understand, I'm not a skilled sheet metal worker. You need to watch RAC Garage or Kyle Carter or Cold War Motors for skilled bodywork, and there are others as well, but those are the ones that I watch. My goal is to basically, if anything, to have it slightly hollow, so I can just put some filler along there, some Bondo or whatever. I've got some holes left as well that I want to fill in. Oh, I cut it around there and I lifted it here and pushed this end up, and that's brought the angle a bit better, to be honest. So I will continue to work on this. You can see it's quite hollow there, but it doesn't look too bad. It's not too desperate. If I can go for just a slight hollow, generally, I've got a chance of being able to fill it. What you don't want is lumps, because you can't get rid of lumps. Yeah, it's not too bad, to be honest. You have to manage your expectations. Okay, righto. Yeah, not too bad. Just a quick little session there. I'll do a little bit more, but to be honest, I am struggling to find my tools. I did find this dolly. I've got other dollies, and I've got this hammer and other hammers that were from a cheapo set years ago. But somewhere I've got a slapper, and what I was taught to do was to use a slapper for raising metal, raising dents. I think maybe I need to continue to look for my slapper. Now, if anybody's listening and know the connotations of that word, I don't want what I'm saying misunderstood, okay? I'll continue to look for my slapper. Okay, see you in a bit. Hello, I've done some more bumping and banging, and it's not looking too bad. And I've just come along and put some more weld on here and there where I could see holes. So I'm just going to grind these down, and I'm going to leave it at that because I've had a good little session. I've come out early today and just done a bit, and we're going to go and walk the dog in a minute, so that'll do me for now. I'll just show you the method I was using for... Oh, that's a hole there, look, I've missed that. And there, okay. I've got to come back and do those. So I'll show you the method I was using for dollying, because it's a little bit difficult, because it's hard to reach both sides. Well, it's not hard, but it's difficult to get a dolly in. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll show you that later. I'm set up for grinding now. I'll do my grinding now, and then I'll come back. I got a bit of a low spot there, and I wanted to just lift it a bit and kind of bump around it to try and just lift it, or rather even up this bit here. So I was trying to lift there from the inside and just hammer here, but I'll just show you how I've just done the dolly there. See, the dolly is in there, look. So I was able to sort of press on this to push it out while I hammered it and flattened it a bit, because it's hard to reach both sides at once. You could do, but it's not easy. But I've been using that method all the way along, and it's kind of worked okay. Okay, right. I will continue to reconstruct this corner of the car. I want to do some work just down here, so I'm going to try and take this light unit out. I've looked inside and there appears to be a bolt there. There's a nut there which might or might not need to come off, and there's another bolt down there, so I'm going to try and undo those and see what happens. But there's a seam down here there's a seam here and it's a bit rusty, so I want to try and find good metal and bridge this, you know, join it on at the back there, this new piece. Okay, let's see if I can do that then. Look at that, U and F bolts just came undone. Hard to believe, isn't it? Put that in this little tub over here, excuse me. Some spiders and things in here. Yeah, it's like a captive nut. Look at all these flies and things. That one there is okay. I like the simplicity of these lights. I need to get the correct reflectors because I think these are too big. It's like brand new, isn't it, that metal there, look. Okay. I think I need to cut a little bit of metal out and then weld it in again. Alright, you know, it's a nice... I need to sort of, this needs to curve in a little bit. But it's all hidden behind the bumper, so why worry, you know. I'm supposed to be repairing it, not restoring it. But that's nice and solid now. Oh, I can see my finger there. I don't think it matters, the tiny little pinholes, because I'm going to go in with some of that... you know, the glass fibre stuff first, and then some filler. You know, it'll be sealed, but that's nice and firm now. Yeah, that's all right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a break, and I'm going to go to the shops and see if I can get some better glasses for, you know, stronger glasses. Pretty good actually. I need to dolly this, don't I? As for getting that to match up with the balance, that's going to be a different matter, isn't it? Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay. There's always something, isn't there? I think I've got to reshape the valance a bit to match that. Okay. You wish that all of it had looked like that, don't you? I can see some holes up here as well, down here as well. I wonder what the best way to deal with these little pinholes. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's pinholes along here. I can see them when I put the light behind. There's one there, one there, one there. I wonder if it's best to come in with a little punch, like a hammer with a spike, and just bash them in like that, and then you've got somewhere for the weld to go, haven't you? Either that, or just, you know, let the filler take care of it. This would all be lead loaded as standard, but it's just going to get filled. Okay, it's nice and sturdy now in this area. Really strong. Okay, I'll call it good at that for now, and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then, bye. Hello, guess what, I'm back out working on the 100E. I did a little bit of welding inside there. Can you see down there? And join the sort of inner wheel well part there. That's stiffened everything up quite dramatically. On this repair section, I've prepared 3 plug welds there, and what I did, I went in with a drill, sort of, and kind of wobbled it about, and then I went in with a end mill. I'll show you a little thing that I did, and that was I needed to know where the inner piece came to. So I got these. Now you can see that the jaws are more or less, you know, level. So I put those in like that and just put a pen mark. And just put a pen mark there. So that tells me where the inner piece comes to. So I've just drilled the holes just that side of those lines. And I'll clamp it together now and I'll try and weld it. Once I've welded it, I can draw another line and kind of trim it off a little bit more closer to the welds, you know, to finish it off, because that's a bit broad, that flange there. Bear in mind, these are patches made by somebody else. I mean, they seem quite well made, but you know, I just want to try and make it look a bit better. Okay, righto, back in a little bit. Hello, right, that's been trimmed there and welded and trimmed away. Cut a couple of slivers of metal off to thin the flange down a bit. I think it looks kind of okay, it looks alright. It definitely does roll under more than a standard one, but you know, hey, I think that's looking okay. The next part to tackle is the boot floor, between the existing boot floor and that vertical flange there, that piece down there. This shape isn't quite right. It should be narrower across there. So what I might do is try and get the shape and fold up a single piece that's long enough to go from the back to there and weld it in. This is Stratford. There's the Royal Shakespeare Theatre there. Here's the River Avon. People looking at the ducks and swans and geese. It's very pretty, lovely day, lots of people here enjoying the pleasure boats, very nice. There's a big wheel over there, look. Cool. Hello, hey, guess what? Back working on the 100E. I've just spent a long time trying to do something, and I No, it's just hopeless. I went round to Jeff's and we formed this piece of metal, which is to the approximate shape of the gutter on the approximate shape there of the gutter. So that is shaped to that shape there, and the idea is that, you know, I can start to make the repair pieces for the boot floor here. I tried to get clever and I formed a piece that was twice as long for this side, but I have tried my best to hammer, dolly, shrink, stretch, bend, try and put this shape into it, and I've really struggled. And the bottom line is that the valley, as soon as I started bending it, just lost its depth. So even though I have managed to get the outer edge to fit the shape of the panel there, because this is a lot shallower than it should be, this piece is lower than it should be. So the boot floor, as it goes across, it ends up sitting too high. Again, I mean, I don't know why I'm worrying, because this is just a repair job. I'm ending up kind of restoring it, but the car ain't good enough to be restored. It just needs fixing to a drivable condition. So I'm a bit disappointed to find rust like this here, because the box section's underneath this. The box section's here. So I'm trying to decide what is the best way to proceed, and I don't know what the answer is. I know I'm not a sheet metal worker, and this is proving it, because I just cannot get this stuff into the right shape. This piece of metal here is okay. There, that's okay. You can see that it's got shiny metal. I think I need to cut across here, get rid of this piece of metal and replace this top piece of the box section with a new piece of metal, much like I have here. I think that will, and what I can do, I can bring it across to here, can't I? If it's rusty, I'll have to cut this away and then put a piece in on the angle. You've got to keep working your way inboard, haven't you, until you find a decent piece of metal. So I'll get rid of this, clean up the top edges of the box section, the top hat pieces, prepare them for plug welding, put a piece of metal in and plug weld it. Here's the box section. I've cut along here, and I've cut along the edge and along this edge and that edge. So now I can kind of grind away at these, weaken them, locate the spot welds and break them off. I hope the top of the flanges is good enough to weld to. Okay, let me attack it with a grinder then, and I'll bring you back again in a minute when we get to the next stage. It's only 5 or 10 minutes later, and what I did, I ground the metal down, and I've got this homemade tool here that's based on a seam splitter. It's an old carving knife, bread knife, and it's sharpened up on the edge and it's sharpened on the point as well. And I kind of come in here with this and knock it in with a hammer in between the spot welds, loosen them, grind in between, and then try and break them off. If they don't break them off, I have to grind them. This bit of metal looks okay until just about there, but I'll have to just live with that. I've laid that piece of metal in there and it comes up against this one. It's roughly the same width as this one, roughly parallel, and it's actually the piece that I cut out of this panel here. I was trying to work with a big panel, it wasn't working, so this is the piece I cut out. I think I need to stick with smaller, more manageable pieces. I'm hoping that I can put a G-clamp round this to hold it down to the box section. So I've scribed all the way around it, well, sort of. I'll work out exactly how I'm going to do it and I'll come back in a little bit. That's my piece of metal. I am on a bit of a learning curve. I could have done with being a bit more accurate with my drilling, but I think they're going to be okay. I've been and got my valve spring compressor because it's got a long, you know, a long reach, if you like, to get around the side. So I'll put that on here to squeeze it down. I'll get it looking good and I'll go in and put some welds on. Okay, I've got 12 plug welds there. That one there was the first one I did and I had the power too high and I just burnt the metal away. That was the second one I did and it didn't take very well and I've ended up putting another little blob of weld on top. This was the next one I did and a big bubble of contamination came to the surface. It wasn't very happy, and when I did this one I realised what was happening. I ran out of gas. I'd run out of gas. That was why that one wasn't very good and this one was hopeless. I've gone over it since. This one and this one came out pretty well. That one and that one came out pretty well. That one and that one were okay. I think I went into this one again. That one there is, you would have to say, near perfect, and that one has got a bit too much metal on it, but it is firmly attached. At least I have been able to weld to the top part of the top hat section, so it's not looking too bad. The problem is the smaller patches you use, the more welding you've got to do. But you know, like for instance, I've got to weld between this patch and that patch now, and between that patch and the gutter, but I just don't have the skills to do them in one go. Okay, right, okay, yeah, well, it's not looking too bad, is it? A little bit of a lick with the grinder will tidy those up, and I'll have to sort of fill that in somehow. I'm not sure how. Okay, righto. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then. Bye. When I left this last night, I was just showing you the plug welds, and I have come in this morning and welded along there and welded along there and there. I got this piece of flattened copper pipe here. I found it useful to have this clamped under here, you know, while welding the seam. So yeah, that's not too bad. So I've just come out to kind of do a bit more. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I'll probably try and bridge this gap and then patch in that corner there, and then hopefully I might be able to say that this side is done. I had quite a big gap there and I seem to have done okay by kind of using filler rod as I'm welding to add extra metal in and help me bridge the gap. It worked quite well, to be honest. I think I used it there as well. Okay, I'm going to wire wheel this and fill in the little bits that I missed, but that's not looking too bad. It's very strong as well, very strong. Where's my piece? There's my piece of metal. So that will go in there. I'm going to cut this lip down short so that I can put welds along it, along the edge of it, and then I'll scribe a line and cut it off, and then I'll have a piece of metal here that I can use to fill in that bit there. I've got my piece kind of in there, and it's not too bad a fit, a little bit up and down here, but I think I'm just going to start welding it in now, and I can bump it around as I need to. Righto, back in a bit. Hello. I've impressed myself by being able to weld all the way along that seam there, left-handed. I'm usually useless left-handed. All this is welded in. I've just left a hole. I've got a hole left here, and I've just laid that piece of metal on, and I've reached underneath and scribed around it. I'll show you what it looks like underneath. Okay, vertigo. There, can you see it up there somewhere? Yeah, there it is. I think, yeah, like a sort of slightly odd shape. So I'm going to cut that out and try welding it in. My problem is I can't get any access for clamps or anything. So yeah, wish me luck. Hello. What the welder giveth, the grinder taketh away. Okay, I've got my patching. It wasn't easy, but I do feel like I'm improving. I've been finding that a method where you have the electrode at a very shallow angle like that and sort of come towards yourself so you can see the electrode. I've got a couple of bits to fill there. I'm just looking for my bit of welding wire to do those. I need to make a little filler piece to go there, a little piece to go in there. It's all a bit weak around here, but I think this has tied it together quite well. You know, it's all beginning to look quite sound, to be honest. There's a lot of sort of dingleberries in there, but yeah, not too bad. This is a sort of butt weld and very minor overlap here and there. It was very difficult to get this into place because there was no real way of holding it. Okay, right, yeah, looking good. I'll find my bit of welding wire, then I'll get a new piece and try and fill those holes there. Righto, I'm going to have a break and have a cup of tea, and when I come back I'll try and finish this corner off. And guess what? Yeah, I've got it to do all over again here. In fact, it's worse over here, look, see that? Hey ho, hey ho. Righto, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello. Okay, here we go. Here's the repair to this corner of the car completed. So we've got a piece of metal that runs away across the back. That is attached all the way to here, and this piece is attached to it, and then that is attached to a new box section underneath, a top hat section. This section here replaces the top of the top hat section and comes across here. This is a channel that I made, thanks to Jeff for helping me with that. He's got some folders. This is the bit that I struggled with, trying to put a curve into that channel shape, and that's a filler piece to just make up the rest. And then there's a little filler piece there. These are attached to here because it's hard to attach down below, and I've just made a tiny little filler piece just there because I just kind of stopped a little bit short here. But all in all, I think that's okay. It's okay. I've just given the welds the tiniest little touch with a grinder, you know, hardly touched them, just to take the lumps off. And I'm looking forward to getting a little bit of primer onto this area, which I've ordered. I've got to, the bit that I remembered is I've got to just put a little bit of weld on there, that vertical flange there. Hopefully I can get that on there without burning through. So I might as well do that now, and then I'll call the session good. Okay, well that's been a bit of a marathon. Yeah, I've got to do much the same on this side. You can see there's a fair bit of problems there. Yeah, there is a patch panel there that I want to take off, mainly because it's been fitted too low, but it is quite rusty, and I have another patch panel that I want to try and use. Okay, righto, so this is the next phase of work. This phase, thank heavens, is done. Okay, right, thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye.